This is Kevin and Paula from Kukkula, and this is our second dinner in our series Dinner at Kukkula. And tonight we're going to be having a bottle of 16 Atto, named after my father, and eggplant parmesan. So I'll have Paula talk about the eggplant parmesan and what we've got here.
So we have eggplant parmesan, some pasta, and spaghetti squash, and a broccoli salad. So my eggplant parmesan is just something that I wing, so I will attempt to put it down on paper in terms of what goes in it. I can't make any promises that my quantities will be okay, but eggplant, you know, they come in different sizes anyway, so we could chalk it up to that. And do you want to talk more about what's in the Atto? And
Eggplant parmesan, by the way, is a staple in our house. We kind of fell into it at a restaurant in Santa Monica about 25 years ago, I think, and just loved it. And so Paula created this, and it's probably something that you make, I think, at least once or twice a month, right? So it's a pretty typical meal that we'll have in the Jussila household. So Atto, named after my father, means Eve in the Finnish language because my father was born on Christmas Eve, is probably our most unusual wine. It is Kunoise driven. In this case, this is 2016. It's 45% Kunoise, 36% Mourvèdre, and 19% Grenache. Kind of typical for this blend. In its initial years, it was a little bit more Mourvèdre driven, Kunoise being in second, but I love Kunoise so much that I thought I would let it be the driver for this wine. Kunoise is a wine, or a grape, that creates a wine that has nice acidity, has a lot of very kind of distinctive baking spices, has a very solid kind of mid-palate spiciness to it. And the blend creates just a really exotic, almost old world Pinot funk to it, with really exotic, intense fruit. And it's a super adaptable wine. And I thought the eggplant parmesan would be a great example of what we would typically have the Atto with. So I'm really looking forward to tasting this. What do you think of the pairing?
nice. Very nice. By the way, Atto's my favorite. So.
Well, that works well.
Yeah, it was very good.
So, this is Paula's favorite wine that I make.
Even though Kevin says we're not supposed to have favorite. It's
well,
like having a favorite child.
I don't say that you're not supposed to have a favorite, but I do get that question asked a lot of me in the tasting room. And of course, my response is, how many kids do you have and which is your favorite? And I really try to make wines that kind of run the spectrum from any and all food that Paula is going to make at home. And so, anyway, to me, it's all about what are we eating and what's the mood. But this is a beautiful combination. It works really well. I think that the acidity of the tomato sauce on the eggplant parmesan really kind of accentuates the fruit in the Atto, and actually kind of maybe even elevates the spiciness that you typically get from this blend. You'll notice, for those of you that know me, I'm always preaching about decanting wine, and more specifically drinking wine that has appropriate age to it. Now this is a 2016, and although we deliver wine slower than a lot of wineries, it is still a relatively young wine. And I would love to have shown, say, our 13 or our 14, even our 15, but unfortunately they're all sold out. Atto is quite popular for us, and the 16, in fact, is almost gone. I think we're down to maybe about 20 cases. Possibly less. And anybody who saw our last video might remember that the wines that we're featuring here are on our website. If you're interested in buying this wine, we're giving a 15% discount for 6 bottles or more. For our club members, you'll also get your club discount on top of that, so we're trying to make this very attractive for everybody. Something I didn't say in the first video is if you want to kind of follow us on this dinner series, we will disseminate via an email to everybody what the dinners will be and what's going to be paired with it. So if you're really interested in following us with this and tasting the wines and the recipes, you could buy any combination of those and be able to enjoy this and enjoy the 15% discount. So any last thoughts, Paula?
So what I was going to say is that Otto's our most food-friendly wine, I think. So we typically will pour Otto when we're not sure what to pour. It matches up with a lot of things
Super adaptable
that
wine,
are typically
correct.
difficult to pair. So
Yeah. It's good.
give peace.
Good piece.